You think you are being mature when you stay available. You think you are being solid when you respond fast. You think you are being a good man when you explain yourself. That is why you get managed. You are not being respected. You are being handled. You do not get ignored because people are busy. You get ignored because your attention is cheap. You do not get tested because people are curious. You get tested because you look easy to move. You do not get questioned because you are mysterious. You get questioned because you trained everyone to expect you to answer. Look at your patterns. At work, your manager drops a last-minute request at 6:12 p.m. You feel the pressure in your chest rise. You tell yourself you are reliable. You open your laptop again. You deliver. The next day, the same manager does it again. Now it is a habit. Not for them, for you. You became the emergency service. That is not status. That is useful. In relationships, you feel the shift when her replies get shorter. You sense her attention moving. You try to fix it with more effort, more messages, more reassurance, more explanation. You think you are fighting for something. You are actually demonstrating that her silence can control your nervous system. You accepted her frame. She became the evaluator. You became the applicant. With friends or family, you hear the same lines. You are always so calm. You are the reasonable one. You understand. That sounds like praise until you notice the outcome. They bring you problems, not opportunities. They bring you drama, not respect. They call when they need a solution, not when they want to offer value. You were trained to be helpful, obedient, and agreeable, not powerful. That training is why you talk too much. It is why you reply too quickly. It is why you over-explain. It is why you feel guilty when you withdraw. You were conditioned to believe that distance is cruelty, that silence is arrogance, that withholding is manipulation. That is the moral trap they use to keep you accessible. Machiavelli knew the truth you keep avoiding. Authority is not built by proving yourself. Authority is built by controlling access to yourself, not with noise, with withdrawal, with silence, with scarcity, with a frame that does not bend. This video is not for everyone. Most people will leave because the moment you stop being agreeable, they call you cold. The moment you stop explaining, they call you toxic. The moment you stop chasing, they call you changed. That is the point. Most people cannot handle realism without comfort. Only the ones ready for uncomfortable clarity stay. Put your phone face down and listen. If this hit you, write "I am the strategist" once in the comments to mark the day your mindset changed. Now, understand what you are really watching. You are watching how withdrawal builds long-term authority. Not one trick, not one tactic. A set of power shifts, psychological reversals that change your position in every room. If you ignore this, you remain controlled. If you stay, you separate from the herd. People think attention is harmless. It is not. Attention is currency. Every time you give it away for free, you teach others what you are worth. You do not need to announce boundaries. You need to enforce them through absence. You do not need to demand respect. You need to remove access. This is not emotion, this is the structure. Watch how weak men behave. They try to win through performance. They try to earn through compliance. They try to negotiate value by being pleasant. That looks nice. It feels good. It also makes you replaceable, because the moment your value depends on constant output, you're owned by the demands of others. You become reactive. You become available. You become predictable. Predictable men are controllable men. The first reversal is simple. The more you explain, the less authority you have. You have lived this. Someone accuses you of being distant or different. You rush to clarify. You list reasons. You defend your intent. You try to prove that you are still good. You think you are protecting your reputation. You are actually stepping into their court. You are letting their accusation become the center of reality. You accepted their frame. You handed them authority. At work, a co-worker says, "You did not include me in that email." You feel the social threat. You explain. You apologize, justify. Now the co-worker knows something. If they apply pressure, You will fold into politeness. You will try to restore harmony. You will keep them comfortable. That is not leadership. That is a submission in a clean shirt. In relationships, she says, "Why are you taking so long to reply?" You explain your day. You give details. You try to reassure. You think this builds trust. It creates the opposite. It tells her that your time is available for review. It tells her that you owe her attention. It turns her into the judge and you into the defendant. Machiavelli's realism is blunt. When you look like you need to be understood, you look weak. When you look like you need approval, you look governable. The powerful do not rush to be interpreted. They let others interpret. They let uncertainty work for them. They let silence do what words cannot. Silence is not empty. Silence is pressure. Silence is a mirror. Silence forces the other person to fill the space with their assumptions. Most people will reveal their agenda when you do not rush to reassure them. They will show you whether they want clarity or control. So the reversal is this: what feels polite is weak. What feels cold is effective. You do not argue with a frame. You did not choose. You do not chase an accusation. You do not volunteer your internal life to someone who has not earned access to it. This does not mean you become rude. It means you become unavailable to unnecessary evaluation. You respond more slowly. You reacted more briefly. You do not add emotional padding. You keep your tone calm. You make them work to move you. They will feel it. They will not say it out loud, but they will feel it. Because your silence communicates something your explanations never will. You are not asking to be accepted. You are deciding what you take. The second reversal is where withdrawal becomes visible. The more you chase closure, the less closure you get. You have seen it. An argument ends with tension. You want resolution now. You send a long message. You ask to talk. You try to clear the air. It feels mature. It feels responsible. It also hands over your nervous system. It tells the other person they can trigger discomfort, then watch you scramble to fix it. At work, a supervisor gives you vague feedback. You need to be more proactive. You feel unsettled. You schedule a meeting. You ask for examples. You try to nail down the moving target. Sometimes that is reasonable, but watch the pattern. The more you chase clarity from someone who benefits from vagueness, the vaguer they become. Because vagueness keeps you in motion. Vagueness keeps you seeking approval. Vagueness keeps you performing. In relationships, when she pulls back, you want the reason. You ask, "Is everything okay?" You ask again. You ask again. You try to decode. You pushed for a conversation. She gives you fragments. Now you are not living your life. You are monitoring hers. Her distance is managing you. Machiavelli would not call this love or teamwork. He would call it leverage. The one who can create uncertainty without panic controls the situation. The one who cannot tolerate uncertainty becomes the servant of whoever can produce it. Withdrawal flips this. You stop chasing closure. You stop begging for clarity. You stop demanding emotional certainty from people who use uncertainty as a weapon. You allow the discomfort to exist without reacting. You let the silence stretch. You let the space widen. This is where most men fail. They confuse withdrawal with losing. They think silence means defeat. They think distance implies abandonment. That is because they were trained to fear disconnection. Useful men fear disconnection because their identity is tied to being needed. Powerful men do not fear disconnection. They use it to reset the hierarchy. When you withdraw, you are not disappearing. You are removing the reward of your attention. You are removing the supply. You are forcing the other person to face the consequences of their behavior without your emotional labor covering them. The mechanism is simple. People repeat what gets rewarded. If you reward disrespect with attention, you teach disrespect. If you reward inconsistency with pursuit, you teach inconsistency. If you reward vague criticism with performance, you teach vague criticism. So you reverse it. You reward clarity. You reward respect. You reward consistency. And you punish the rest with calm absence. not tantrums, not threats. Absence. The third reversal is about approval. The more you seek approval, the less you get. The more you can live without it, the more you receive. This is the sick irony of social power. When you look like you need validation, people feel burdened by you. They may still take from you, but they do not honor you. They may still accept your help, but they do not follow your lead. They tolerate you, they use you, they do not value you. At work, you volunteer for everything. You say yes to prove you are committed. You accept extra tasks to show loyalty. You stay late to show ambition. You think this will build authority. It builds dependency. They will rely on you, but they will not respect you. They will praise you, but they will not promote you because you are too useful where you are. You made yourself the tool. Tools do not get authority. Tools get used. In your social circle, you are the one who organizes, checks in, and keeps the group together. You become the glue. You think being the glue makes you essential. It makes you replaceable. Because the group does not admire glue. The group expects glue. And the moment glue stops working, they find another adhesive. In relationships, you give more to prove your value. You initiate more. You compliment more. You make more effort. You think you are showing leadership. You are showing hunger. Hunger is not masculine power. Hunger is a signal that you can be controlled through scarcity. Machiavelli would not tell you to be cruel. He would ask you to be strategic. Do not give what makes you respected to people who have not earned it. Do not pour your attention into a container that has cracks. Scarcity creates value because scarcity signals choice. Choice signals status. Status creates authority. Withdrawal is not only about silence, it is about selection. When you stop seeking approval, you start evaluating. You stop entering rooms asking, "Do you like me?" You begin entering rooms asking, "Do you qualify?" That shift is felt instantly. People can sense when they are being assessed rather than obeyed. The mechanism is primitive. Humans track status by watching who chases and who is chased. They track dominance by watching who reacts and who remains centered. They track authority by watching whose frame becomes reality. When you seek approval, you react. When you withdraw from approval, you control. You keep your pace. You keep your tone. You keep your attention locked behind a gate. The fourth reversal is where most men get exposed. The person who is always available is never taken seriously. Availability sounds like kindness. It also sounds like desperation. When you answer instantly, you communicate that nothing else in your life is more important than this message. When you drop plans to accommodate someone, you communicate that your calendar is weak. When you always pick up, you communicate that access to you is guaranteed. Guaranteed access kills authority. At work, the employee who answers every email at midnight is not seen as powerful. They are seen as controllable. They may be praised, but they are not feared. They are not respected. They are managed. In relationships, the man who is always reachable becomes background noise. She knows he will respond. She knows he will explain. She knows he will explain. She knows he will stay. That is comfort, not value. Comfort is not authority. Comfort is furniture. Furniture is functional, but nobody worships furniture. With family, the one who is always the fixer becomes the default solution. They do not ask if you can. They assume you will. The assumption is an insult. They will criticize you for helping you help because you set the standard that your help is automatic. Machiavelli's lens is cold but accurate. People respect what they cannot fully control. They respect what has boundaries. They respect what has boundaries. They respect what can leave. Withdrawal creates that. Not a dramatic leaving, not loud exits, quiet limits, controlled distance. You stop answering immediately. You stop being reachable at all hours. You stop overcommitting. You let people know that you are not on standby. This is not about playing games. This is about refusing to be a resource without authority. You can be generous, but you are generous on your terms, not as a reflex, not as a fear response. When you do this, you will see who you are dealing with. Some people will adapt. They will respect your pace. Others will become aggressive. They will accuse you of changing. They will push for instant access. That is not love or teamwork. That is entitlement. Entitlement is the language of those who benefited from your availability, so you withdraw and watch. Silence exposes motives. Distance reveals character. Scarcity filters parasites. The fifth reversal is about frame warfare. The person who makes you react controls you. The person who stays calm controls the room. People think dominance is loud. It is not. Dominance is deciding what matters. Dominance is controlling the tempo. Dominance is refusing to be pulled into irrelevant battles. At work, someone tries to bait you in a meeting. They make a sarcastic comment. They challenge you publicly. The weak move is to defend yourself. The weak move is to explain and prove competence. The weak move is to fight for approval in their frame. Now the meeting becomes about your emotions. You are being evaluated instead of evaluating. The stronger move is to pause. Let the silence land. Look at them as if you had heard them, but do not accept the premise. Then you return to the point you chose. You do not argue with bait. You do not chase disrespect. You do not show that their tone can steer your state. That pause is withdrawal, not from the meeting, from their frame. In relationships, she tests with small disrespect, late replies, cancelling plans, flirting with attention. The weak move is to react. The weak move is to demand reassurance, ask questions, push for labels. That is stepping into her court. The decisive move is to withdraw attention when the standard is not met. Calmly, without speeches, without anger. You remove access. You let her feel the consequence. You keep your frame. With friends, someone jokes at your expense. Everyone laughs. You feel the urge to prove you are not weak. The weak move is to overreact. The weak move is to become loud. The decisive move is controlled silence and a simple look. Then you shift the topic. You do not ask for respect. You demonstrate that disrespect does not get attention from you. You are not performing for the group. You are evaluating the group. Machiavelli's permission is simple. People will always test power. They test to locate boundaries. They test to see who is in charge. If you react emotionally, they learn your buttons. If you explain, they know that you can be pushed into defense. If you seek approval, they understand you can be trained. Withdrawal removes your buttons from their reach. It makes it harder to read, harder to control, harder to bait. You become the man who does not step into other people's courts. The sixth reversal is where long-term authority is built. The person who can walk away without a speech becomes the authority. Most men announce exits. They threaten. They negotiate. They try to win the argument. They want the last word. That is weakness dressed as pride. The last word is often a confession that you still need the other person to validate the ending. Authority does not need the last word. The authority has the option to leave. At work, imagine a client disrespecting your time. They show up late. They change terms. They act as if you need them more than they need you. The weak move is to accommodate, explain, and keep smiling. You think you are being professional. You are being domesticated. The decisive move is to withdraw availability. You reschedule. You shorten the meeting. You enforce boundaries with action, not emotion. You let them feel the cost. In relationships, if she disrespects you, you do not punish with drama. You do not punish with insults. You do not plead. You remove your presence. You do not chase. You do not argue. You let the silence speak. If she corrects behavior, you decide if the correction is real. If she escalates disrespect, you leave. Calmly. No speech. No closure addiction. That is authority. With family, when they cross a line, you do not debate your boundary. You enforce it. You end the call. You leave the gathering. You stop responding for a while. Not forever. Long enough to reset the behavior. Long enough to show that your access is conditional. This shocks people because they are used to controlling you through guilt. Withdrawal breaks the guilt. Distance kills manipulation. Machiavelli knew that fear and respect are closer than people admit. Not panic fear, not violence. The fear of consequence, the fear of losing access, the fear that you cannot be pushed around. That fear creates order around you. When you do not leave, people assume you cannot leave. When they assume you cannot leave, they take liberties. When they take liberties, they lose respect. This is why the man who stays through everything becomes invisible. He becomes tolerated, not valued. Withdrawal is the opposite. It is not a tantrum. It is a consequence. It teaches others the cost of mishandling you. Now you integrate this into one reality. You do not need to be cruel. You do not need to be dramatic. You do not need to become an actor. You need to stop acting like access to you is a human right. Look at the consequences of staying soft. Social invisibility is not a mystery. It is a result. When you are always available, your presence is not felt. When you always explain, your words lose weight. When you accept every frame, your frame disappears. You become a background character in your own life. Loss of leverage is not bad luck. It is structural. Leverage comes from options. Options come from independence. Independence comes from being willing to withdraw. If you cannot cancel, you have no options. If you do not have options, you negotiate from a position of weakness. People sense it. They do not even need to think about it. They feel it. Being managed instead of respected is also not random. When you react quickly, they set your tempo. When you seek approval, they put your worth on the line. When you chase closure, they put your emotional state in the spotlight. They do not have to hate you to control you. They have to know you will comply. That is why you keep getting almost respect, almost a promotion, almost commitment, almost loyalty, almost always, almost appreciation. You get the crumbs because you trained people that crumbs keep you present. Now contrast it with withdrawal. Silence creates fear because silence removes certainty. Distance creates authority because distance signals you are not dependent. Scarcity creates value because scarcity forces evaluation. When your attention is not guaranteed, people notice the gap. They feel the gap. They start calculating. The gap is the weapon. The gap is the power. The gap is where they realize they do not fully own your response. This is not cruelty. These are not gains. This is realism. Cruelty is harming people for pleasure. Withdrawal is protecting your frame. Games are fake moves for attention. Withdrawal is a boundary that speaks without begging. People only call it a game when it stops benefiting them. You were trained to be agreeable. Agreeable men are easy to manage. They are easy to guilt. They are easy to rush. They are easy to rush. They are easy to evaluate. They live inside other people's frames. They are constantly being sized up. They are continually trying to prove their worth. The strategist lives differently. The strategist does not hand out attention like candy. The strategist does not answer every accusation. The strategist does not chase every mood. The strategist does not compete in someone else's court. The strategist chooses silence when words would place him in a lower position. The strategist uses distance when closeness would reduce his value. The strategist determines who qualifies for access. Machiavelli's name is not here to decorate a concept. It is here as a form of permission for realism. People respect consequences. People respect scarcity. People respect the man who can leave. They can call it cold. They can call it arrogant. They can call it toxic. That does not change the mechanism. It only reveals who depended on your weakness. Now here is the uncomfortable part. When you start withdrawing, some people will punish you with more tests. They will escalate. They will push harder. They will try to force you back into the old role. That is the final proof that your old role served them. Your job is not to argue with their reaction. Your job is to hold the line, calmly, without speeches, without rage, without needing them to understand. Because long-term authority isn't built in a single moment. It is built in repetition. It is built on consistency. It is built when people learn the new rule. Access to you is earned and not assumed. You do not need to announce the rule. You show it. You reply when you choose. You meet when it fits your frame. You contribute when respect is present. You leave when disrespect appears. You stop rewarding behavior that reduces you. When you do this, they organize and categorize you, not because you demanded it, because you made it necessary. Now you want a real-world challenge, not a motivational challenge, a test of authority. For the next 7 days, stop explaining yourself to people who are not paying you, protecting you, or building with you. When someone throws a frame at you, do not rush to defend. Pause. Let silence do its job. Give fewer words. Give slower responses. Remove emotional labor. Let the discomfort sit on their side, not yours. At the same time, withdraw one level of availability, not total disappearance. Just remove instant access. No immediate replies. No instant fixes. No automatic yes. Make your attention slightly scarce. Watch what happens. Watch who respects it. Watch who punishes it. Watch who reveals entitlement. That is data. That is reality. That is power. Suppose you want more of this, like the video. Subscribe if you are staying in this mindset. Share it with the one man you know who is still being controlled by his need to be liked. If this hit you, write "I am the strategist" once in the comments to mark the day your mindset changed. Now close the app when you are done. Stand up, moving like your attention is valuable. Speak like your approval is rare. Withdraw like you have options. This is your frame now.